What is poppin', everyone? So today we'll be answering a question that it's really important to me. It's something that I think everyone should be more concerned about. I think it's a really devastating global issue that we have going on, and I think so. The question itself might sound pretty redundant, right? Is climate change real? Well, of course, climate change is real, but it is a question that gets asked a lot in the US, at least. We have videos, we have articles that try to answer this question because there's a lot of people out there that don't actually believe climate change is real, or that it is important, or that it's substantial. There's people that don't believe that it's a real issue, and you can really see that in the politics here in the US, right? We have presidents that don't put climate change as their number one or their second or their third priority. It's probably somewhere down there, as the seventh most important thing that they want to tackle. People don't really care about climate change that much. People don't care as much as they should, is what I have observed. And no, so the answer is climate change is real. Climate change is, of course, killing a lot of animals. But as for humans too, it's causing people who live near the equator to have to immigrate to nearby countries through illegal means, or through war, or through some form that ends up causing conflict and thus destruction of property, loss of lives, just horrible things that happen because of climate change. And so personally for me, I live in the US. I am pretty safe from the impacts of climate change, right? Worst thing that could happen is the southern states become uninhabitable, but then the US is large, so we just move to the north. But what about people who live near the equator? So for example, Pakistan, India, Nepal, Philippines, people who live in places where climate change can be more devastating to them. I think these are lives that we should start considering. And so personally for me, the thing I find most important is trying to figure out ways to invent new sources of energy. So in essence, that's what we call renewable energy. And so renewable energy is basically energy that doesn't cost the planet succeedingly more CO2 is one aspect, but it doesn't continuously harm the planet as you use more of it. And so basically with renewable energy, for example, solar panels, we're taking energy from the sun and we're not destroying the atmosphere with that energy. So for example, carbon capture is one of them. What it does is it captures the carbon that's in the atmosphere, and then so it decreases the amount of CO2 in the atmosphere, and that overall helps our planet. And there's other things such as electric cars. These are things that use electric energy instead of fossil fuels, so gasoline, or like coal and those kind of things. So with renewable energy, I think innovation in that sector is our path towards getting to a net zero world. So getting to a world where we are emitting, we're not continuously polluting the earth and destroying the earth, basically. So creating a clean and safe space. And so personally for me, this is probably one of the biggest issues that we have going on. There's other issues such as overpopulation and famine and war, but it's all tied together. They're not all separate issues. With an increase in climate change, with an increase in global warming, I think there will be war. There will be there will be a war. There will be lives lost. There's going to be more destruction. It's all tied together. And as citizens, especially for me in a democratic country, something that I think that we can do just as regular people, unless you're a politician, is to vote for people that will enact policies that will combat climate change, that will combat global warming. For example, if a politician says, hey, I'll increase taxes by 2% if you're creating cars that use fossil fuels, and then I'll decrease taxes by 2% for those companies that are creating electric cars. So politicians who will try to use the money that we have in a lot of developed nations such as the US, Canada, Japan, Korea, Taiwan, use the funds that we have and then try to subsidize the more renewable energy friendly companies. That's what I think we can do best. And just to end this podcast on a good note, I personally believe there's a good future ahead of us. We just need to put our foot forward and really fight for it. So thank you all for listening, and I will see y'all next time.